Welcome to this week's edition of What the Wednesday. I wanted to talk about a few different feed types this week. First of all, I want to talk about cotton, products that come to us care of the cotton industry. Cottonseed for many of us was the saving grace of last winter. It really got us through. It has this week, I think, had a little bit of a price drop. It did get pretty expensive there for a while. So great feed, good energy, excellent protein, because our energy comes to us from oils and fats, not starch. We don't really have to worry about acidosis, so we can be pretty flippant with the feeding of it out. We can put it out in dumps and things like that, and they'll self-regulate fairly well on cottonseed because of the oil content. The rumen can only handle so much oil in a day, so 7 or 8% of the total daily ration in oil. Any more than that, and the bugs really struggle because the oil coats everything. It stops working. The rumen stops working. So good. So great from that point of view, but then also that's its limitation. So in a lot of cases, cows, we can sort of get them up to 3 to 4 kilos per head per day, maybe. But we can't really get them any higher than that. So we still need fibre and maybe something else to go with if that's not going to be enough to meet our demands. The sheep guys that were using cottonseed, lambing ewes, probably couldn't eat enough seed to get enough out of it. So it probably worked not as good for sheep as it did for cattle, but certainly helpful. Mind you, I guess this season it's sort of double what it started last season at, but it's it's a really usable feed. The other one I wanted to talk about was cotton trash. Some changes late last year meant that we now are able to feed cotton trash to livestock. But there's a pretty strict list of criteria around how we manage that, and rightly so. I'm old enough just to remember the Helix, and the heartbreak that happened there a couple of decades ago, and certainly we wouldn't want to see that again. So before you do anything about sourcing cotton trash, jump on the LPA website and have a really good look and read through the information on there. Know and understand what it means for you and your production system to take delivery of this feed. You have to supply your pick, and that gets filtered through to the NLIS database. So whilst you're under that cotton trash status, the saleability of all of your livestock on that pick really is limited. You need to be audited to get that status lifted. There's only one crew in the country at the moment that are accredited to do that. So it means getting an auditor from Queensland down for that, and there is a fee associated with that as well. And then you need to feed a clean feed to some other food source for 60 days before that status is lifted. So really do your homework on that. We've had some heartbreaking stories of some people that have taken delivery of trash, and then for whatever reason, perhaps they've run out of water, they've needed to sell their stock, and they've been rejected at sale yards because of that status. So know what you're getting yourself in for. The other thing too is it's cheap for a reason. Aside from all of the paperwork and the rules and stuff that go with it, it's not great nutritionally. It will do a job as a fibre source. So for many people, it'll get them out of trouble if we combine it with some grain or something else to go with. I saw a feed test that one of the district vets from Central West shared. An ME, an energy level of 5.4 megajoules, so that's low, that's really low. The dry matter digestibility was below the limit the lab can test down to, so that's it's a pretty fair indication of the quality of the product. It was so low that they couldn't test it accurately to know exactly how low it was. Protein did fare a little bit better, but protein in ruminants is a really easy thing to bridge. So yeah, please do your homework before you consider that. For many people, it will be a lifeline, but just make sure it's not going to be a nail in your coffin. onto brighter topics. For those of you in the Gunnedah district, early July, the Grassland Society are having their biannual conference. Pretty big deal. This conference only happens every other year and it moves about the state. Awesome lineup of speakers, a focus on a swing back to forages and things like that, which might be really helpful for some people. So 3rd and 4th of July in Gunnedah. Get along and we'll see you there.